Good morning, everybody. So I thought I'd do another video. It's been a while. I am currently reviewing one of my clients' scans who's in the 6-month gut program for their appointment tomorrow. So I thought I'd just kind of go down, look at her scan and just, again, kind of point out the stuff that I see to help you guys start to connect the dots. So the first category in her vital scan that we have are the blood and the lipids. There's quite a few coming up: LDL, HDL, non-HDL-C, and triglycerides. So typically when I see a lot of categories popping up there, I'm already going to know that that person's going to need to increase their omega-3s and essential fatty acids. The next thing she's got going on, it looks like albumin is a 8. So typically when you see albumin coming up, a couple things could be needing more hydrochloric acid if they don't have enough. They could be dehydrated. They could need more minerals and or chlorophyll. So those are the things that you could explore if you're seeing albumin. Next in the CBC, it looks like she's got neutrophils, which look to be low. Again, those can be considering for a viral infection, and then monocytes we have too. Typically when you see monocytes, that's going to be, in my mind, I'm already thinking Epstein-Barr, mono, stuff like that. Let's see, she's got MCV, MCHC coming up, so now I'm already thinking what's going on with her B vitamins. So when we get down to that category, we will figure that out. Again, in the fatty acid category, omega-3s, almost all the categories are lit up. So ALA, DHA, DPA, those are the ones that she's going to need the most of. That stuff looks good. Let's scroll down to digestive function. So it looks like we have peristalsis, intestinal bacteria. So peristalsis is, again, basically how fast food is moving through you. We want it to be moving pretty quickly. Fruit usually is in and out of your gut in about 4 to 5 hours. Veggies maybe 6 to 8 hours, and meat can be gross, 24, 36 hours. It can be quite some time. So we don't want food sitting in the gut because that's going to sit and rot and ferment and create a whole other slew of issue. Inflammation category, there's quite a few. We got CRP, homocysteine, histamine, kappa B. So there's definitely still some inflammation going on. So let's see. CRP is C-reactive protein, which typically will come up along with sed rate when you get blood work done. So that's a marker for inflammation. Homocysteine looks like she's a 8. So that's all going to be part of the methylation cycle. So when we get down to liver, we're going to look at what the methylation's doing. And we already know that B vitamins came up, and B vitamins help with all that process. So through the methylation system, that's going to help to clear the homocysteine out of the body. Let me go down and look at her heart real quick, because a lot of times when homocysteine comes up, that's going to start affecting the heart and the arteries, which actually she does not look that bad in that category. Something else we're going to look to real quick here in the genetic for the MTHFR, which she is double green for all that. So I don't think that's MTHFR. It just might be faulty or slow-moving methylation through the liver, which means the liver is probably overburdened. Insulin resistance, there's a couple of things coming up. It is something that we're working on and addressing. We've just basically changed her diet and limited the amount of carbs and or the type of carbs that she's been eating. Let's see here. Amino acids. So we have glutamic, which again goes along with glutamine, which I use to be a gut sealer, and all that converts into GABA. Glycine she needs. So again, I use my liquid collagen for that, but glycine's super important again for helping to create glutathione. Let's see, and methionine is coming up. So methionine is an 8. And that all correlates again with the homocysteine and the liver and the methylation. A lot of times when people have high methionine, you may need to limit their animal protein because that can get converted into homocysteine. So we already know those things are combined and they're an issue. So we need to figure out whether or not it's just food related, gut related, MTHFR, which I don't think it is, or if the liver just needs to be detoxed, or if we just need the more appropriate pathways to be opened with the B vitamins and some other supplements and nutrients. Let's see. Enzymes, we have pepsin, which we already kind of figured out because, let's see, albumin came up with hydrochloric acid. So HCl and pepsin we're going to need, if not more of, so that she can digest and break down her food better. Sodium, so we might want to think what kidneys and adrenals are doing. Hopefully she's getting enough Celtic sea salt in her diet. Microminerals, silicon, so I'm going to keep an eye on that one because that's been a cell salt I'm thinking about adding for her. That's super important for skin and bones and elasticity. Just about everyone's deficient in silica. We also have fluorine. So again, we still need to figure out where she's getting exposed to that, and then possibly looking at what the thyroid's doing and if we need to detoxify not only her thyroid with iodine of the fluoride, but also the pineal gland, because I want to see if melatonin's coming up. So yes, in the vitamin coenzyme sections, we have a bunch of B vitamins coming up. So again, that might be the problem with methylation. So we definitely need to make sure she's getting those in. Still low in vitamin D, which again, super duper low in vitamin D usually means you have leaky gut, which again, we are working on. We just started about 30 days ago. Then we have hypoxia and vagal tone. So those two are kind of, related. Hypoxia if you're not breathing well, and if there's a lot of stress going on, the vagus is going to not function like it should. And glutathione came up, which we already kind of know because of glycine coming up. Glutathione also is needed for the liver to help detoxify. Glutathione and melatonin are two of the biggest anti-inflammatories. So we need that. So let's go back to vagal tone because now I'm seeing in the endocrine system, everything's lit up, which pretty much correlates with that HPA axis. So again, we're working and addressing the stress and adrenals, and then the HPA axis with changing her food to an anti-inflammatory diet. Cranial nerves look pretty good. Like I said, heart's pretty good. Hormones are actually not bad. Still a little low in GABA. Immune system, which we already know there's some stuff going on because monocytes and neutrophils came up. And then we're adding lymph. Looks like lymphatics need to be addressed, which again closely corresponds with the immune system, the endocrine system, and the nervous system, which we already know is taxed because of the HPA axis and the infections. So liver and gallbladder, that's a section that's pretty lit up. There's a lot of reds, which we already know we need to focus on the liver and cleaning that out. And yes, detox phase 2 methylation came up as a double 1. So that is definitely an issue. So we already knew because of MCV, MCHC, and B vitamins, as well as homocysteine and methionine. But she does not have the MTHFR as of today, at least. So we're going to keep an eye on that. So some simple ways to kind of start with methylation, again, is a gut healing program, which we are doing first, repairing the gut, lots of greens, making sure she's getting tons of fiber, no sugars, make sure she's sweating, pooping every day, and decreasing stress levels. Let's see. Oh, well, this is ironic too. So intestinal bacteria came up. So strep actually came up as well in bacteria. So A lot of times when you see strep coming up, you're always going to think of SIBO, small intestine bacterial overgrowth, which again, you need to treat candida because that can inhibit the methylation pathway. So that alone, the SIBO, could be what's disrupting her methylation. And again, I typically will use fulvic acid to help start cleaning all of that out. So let's go down further. And yes, there's a lot of categories in the fungus lit up. So that's all connected. Parasites, there are quite a few, but again, that's most likely because we are lacking hydrochloric acid. So we are going to increase hydrochloric acid. And then in viruses, we just have Epstein-Barr and herpes. So those are the viral infections and the monocytes that came up. And Epstein-Barr and herpes, they are basically all in the herpes family. So we know her immune system needs work, the lymph needs work, HPA axis, the nervous system, vagus. We need some key supplements to help with the liver and the methylation. We need to do a gut healing protocol and then work on the candida and the SIBO. So that's it in a nutshell for this client. Hopefully you guys got some good information out of that. Everything that I just talked about today is actually in the AO Scan mentoring course if you'd like to dive deeper and start connecting the dots.